All right, guys. So welcome again to the Face, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button and the notification button to stay up to date with my new videos and my new content. So today, in today's video, I will be still going on the introduction on Fxdreema platform. And remember, guys, we are doing this so that we can get the full knowledge of how to use this platform for an effective result. My previous video, I talked about some few parameters on this platform, and there's no way I could cover all that in one video, and that will make it too boring if you would agree with me. So I decided to take it slowly so that you can digest everything that I have actually said. Okay, so starting and continue from where I left before, I will be talking about the constants. And please, guys, if you're watching this, please make sure to go and watch the previous video as to get the full knowledge of the introduction to Fxdreema. So this constant now, what does it work and how does it work? So in constants, these are inputs, okay? So we make use of this constant as our input so that after working our robots, we um, don't have to come back to this platform again to edit it and re-download it back. Okay, I believe some of us are stuck in this cycle, endless cycle. So we know that you can't make a simple robot in one creation. Okay, it takes lots of work, lots of correction, and lots of idea, creativity, and lots more to make a very good working robot. So now, to save you the time of coming here countless of time editing and receiving it back, downloading it back, going back to your um MetaTrader 4 or 5 to test it out, you can use this. Okay, so which means this is where you input your commands, your lot size, your moving average, whatever command that you're working with the robot. Okay, you can actually input it here. Now, most especially what this constant stands for is the name constant. So any inputs that you input here will not change, okay, which means they remain constant. Okay, so this means that if you are using 0.01 lots, for example, as your opening position lots, the robot will always use 0.01 as your what lot size, which means it cannot alter it. So it is constant. So even if the robot trades from now to 3 years to come, it will always use 0.01. Okay, that's why it's called constant. So every input or every command you input in this tab, constant tab, means they remain constant till what? Eternity. Okay, as long as the robot is working, those constant remains the same. They will not ever change. All right, and now we know that in Forex there is lots more than we know. Okay, and there are lots of strategies. So many guys are using so many strategies. For example, to start with, we have martingale. So martingale needs another type of strategy and command, and you can only do that with variable. Okay, you can only do that with what? Variable. So I will take my time to explain this too, because so many people find it very difficult to use these columns. All right, so here is where you can input your what? Variable. So what does variable actually says? Just like the name implies, variable means something that can change what? Over time. A variable can change from 1 to what? 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 6, 8, 10, and so on and so forth. So here is where we make use of what? Variable. So here in this column or in this tab, we can instruct our robots to what? Carry out some specific tasks on its own without us coming to change the lot ourselves before the robot will carry on with it. Right. So in variables, we can instruct our robots to make use of 0.01 as our initial starting lot. And maybe depending on your strategy, you can instruct the robot to increase the lots, okay, from 0.01 to 0.02, okay, which is known as martingale strategy in the forex industry. So this is where you actually what does that. Okay, don't forget what we are doing here is introductions. All right, in the coming few feature, I will be working on this robot so that everyone can understand how all this works, and you know maybe get access to my robots also, and so forth and so on. Of course, there will also be free robots that will be dropping on this page, so always make sure you check out my page for my new contents. All right, so now let's go on to it, and if you have any questions, kindly drop it in the comment section. Maybe a strategy you want me to work on, etc, and etc and etc, and I will get back to you and we'll figure it out later. Or maybe where you're having issues on your robot creation journey, and I will be glad to help you out. So back to where we were, guys. So these variables, just like I explained, is the place where you will be making use of what the column where you can instruct your robot to do otherwise without your help, okay, or without your supervision. So let's say in constants, we already know this, the robot will never change all the inputs you put in this column, which is constant. All right, which means if your robot is using 0.01, it will continue using that unless you change the lot size yourself. Okay, you change your lot size yourself, so it will not change. But here the robot can do what otherwise at your own word command. Okay, which means you don't need to come and change the robot to 0.02 for it to change. The robot will itself be able to what to do some calculations, some thinkings, some decisions by itself, okay, according to how you instruct it to do. So it's not a complicated stuff, but I believe with time we understand how this works. Okay, it's a complicated part of the Fxdreema though, but if you give it your time, you will be able to get how this works. All right, so let's move on to the next part. So in here we can see variables, and this particular tab goes with this. Okay, so here is where you input your variables, you can see. And also guys, if you want to understand how this works, you can simply double click on this or just on the column to get what this works, okay, how this works. So you can see that this modifies what the variables you input in this column. All right, so and here we call all these what blocks. Okay, these are blocks. Okay, these are what blocks, command blocks. So in conditions and formula, so as the word implies, conditions and formula. Okay, conditions and what formula. So here you can use this to what tell your AI or your work or your project, okay, what you want it to do. So in here you can input the conditions you want, and of course I'm doing an explanation version now. So the coming videos you will see how all this was gets into what action. I will show you guys how all this gets into action. Okay, so this is where you instruct your robot of what to do, and the things the robot needs to see before it will what maybe buy or sell for you. So these are condition blocks. So this is where you put your strategy. Okay, and this is the formula. You can see if I double click on this, it says here, this block makes a simple mathematical operation over two operands, left operand and right operand, and puts the result into previously defined variable. You need to first define that variable in variables and then put it in the right click select into corresponding input field. All right, so you can see that this also goes with this and also goes with the constant. Okay, so this is some kind of a mathematical place where you combine two commands to make one result. Okay, so these are for complex robots, okay, not for basics. These are complex works. Okay, but here basic students, beginners, novice can be able to use this side with ease. Okay, so let's go to conditions. So here is